Welcome. So we're here to talk about emotional intelligence, but I want to start with what I'd like to leave you with. Two things. You guys are really, really scary. And when you leave here, you're surrounded by it, your company, or you're working with partners who try to make sales. Being left behind is a primal fear. People aren't even aware that it's there. And you feel it a lot too. That's number one. Emotional intelligence, the tools that I want to impart to you, it's not so you can convince people to buy something. It's to help you so that they can convince themselves. And I always say, please reach out to me on LinkedIn afterwards, because this really takes practice and it takes role play. And I've seen it be effective, and it's really a teaching thing. So let's, oh, there it is. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong place. All right, so emotional intelligence, the Q comes from quotient, like IQ, which everyone has a huge one. And so what is it? It starts with yourself at its core. It is the ability to recognize, interpret, and respond appropriately to your own emotions. And I don't know about you, but an example at work, and we're going to keep this about work, is you read an email, you're in a meeting, something happens, and you get upset or fired up, and you go back to your desk and you fire off an email that's either angry or a bit too uptight, and you think to yourself, why did I do that? So this is a good practice. This is what I mean. So you're feeling a certain, we'll just do anger or frustration. And you read this email and you feel that welling up in you. And you skip the part about interpreting, all right, what's going on with me? What am I feeling? And then the response doesn't feel great. They always say you don't want to be a slave to your emotions. Well, that's true. It doesn't feel great. So it starts with, and try this in the next few days, just pay attention to how you react to things and take a moment and interpret what's going on for me. And a lot of times it's as old as the playground. And then the other side, or the partner to that, is the ability to recognize, interpret, and respond appropriately to the emotions of other people. And this is what we do every day. We partner. And we're on two sides of the table, on Zoom, whatever it is. And this dance, this mechanism, it really works a lot better than just coming at each other, talking about a thing. I think, this conference is a great example of you have a limited amount of time and you come at people and just start talking about your thing. Rather than taking a moment and saying, what might be the frame of reference of the person to whom I'm talking? So, and why is emotional intelligence useful or important when it comes to work and partnering with other people? Because emotion underlies every decision, every single one. You can disagree and fire off an angry email to me later, right? Nobody buys a timeshare on logic. I worked on car advertising for a long time, Toyota trucks. And we did these amazing commercials where, at least 3 of the wheels were off the ground, the dust is kicking up, off-road adventure. And I will tell you that only 1% of customers who buy Toyota 4x4s ever leave the pavement on purpose. So even though it's a high-ticket item, they buy those things on emotion. So it underlies every decision that you make. And empathy is that powerful, compelling force. When you are working with someone and you want them to make a certain decision, it's not going to be from logic, it's not going to be from reading a brochure or seeing a demo. It's going to be from something underneath that is their emotional point of view. And what emotional intelligence is trying to get at that point of view. And I want to talk about empathy for a second, because what I don't want you guys to do is think that it's a soft skill. This drives me kind of nuts. Emotional intelligence is not soft. It is shrewd, it is effective, it is powerful, it is not soft. It's not hugging people, it's not any of these things, consensus, sympathy, there's a very big difference. So how do we define empathy, is that it's really about that understanding that frame of reference of the other person. Walk a mile in their shoes isn't really relevant. But trying to understand, what is the frame of reference? I've had people come up to me here very, very earnest and start talking about their thing. It would be great to start with what my frame of reference might be. And I mean, everybody gets talked to here. What might the frame of reference be? That'd be a better place to start. And I also find it really interesting that in this business of retail, the one in which I work, we spend years and millions of dollars and tons of marketing people to try to do this very thing about the customers. What is their frame of mind? What are they looking for? What might be the impetus that would compel them to make a sale, to buy something from you? But we don't do it for ourselves every day at work. This is crazy to me, right? Let's treat each other with the same respect and time and attention that we do for consumers. The person sitting across from you at the table is another person. They have that same mechanism inside them. So when it comes to retail and creative and merchandising, that's the frame of reference that I have. And by telling you about that, I think probably you can extrapolate to your own business. So I have two groups of people at Walmart which I need to bring along with me. I cannot come in to sell this technology through unless I bring people along. And like I said, I want them to think that it's their choice to adopt this technology, because Cynthia can't come in and do presentations about 3D and immersive and just expect everybody to get on board, because getting left behind, they're in the fear, they want to be part of it and they don't know how. So with the 6 minutes left, with the merchandising org, I try to get what is their frame of reference. And I got it wrong. I thought that the merchandising organization was concerned with making numbers and selling stuff. That's the byproduct of the emotion that underlies the decision. So in talking to them, I discovered what they really want is flexibility and control. That's how then they will make their numbers. So I took the benefit of 3D that I thought could nurture that, and that's the conversations I had with them. And then for the creative team, the landmines were landmines. These are people that feel that they are getting left behind. I hear all the time, well, that's the way the world is going. And that's like a freight train, an emotional, scary freight train passing them by. And we need all of those storytellers, and everybody has a role to play. So when I talk to the creative people, I don't really talk about flexibility, control, and selling couches or whatever. For them, I talk about you can be part of the future. You deserve a place in the future. The skills you already have can come to play. And quelling those fears a little bit. And on that note, when you're in meetings, well, I'll just talk about myself. When I'm in meetings and I do road shows, I build comprehension, I want people to see the mechanism, I do a few demos, I do not ask at the end of it, are there any questions? Because probably they have them, but there is no way they're going to ask in front of their colleagues and risk looking, I hate the word, looking like they don't have any clue. So I will make a point after the meeting, reaching out, and first of all, I say, do you have any feedback from the meeting? Because I really want to know. And then I talk to them about, hey, maybe we can partner on something. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? And so I want to bring that up because, at least in Silicon Valley, and I use, now it's spread out, nobody wants to look stupid. It is like the cardinal fear. And so when you're talking to people and making presentations, keep in mind that even if you think that they're forward-thinking, they may not know at all what you're talking about. And then the conversation takes a whole nother level and nobody's listening to you. Some of the common emotions that are going on, and again, I'm going to keep this about my day-to-day. These are some common emotions that your colleagues and yourself have inside them every day. Their reputation, job security, self-confidence. None of these things are retail terms. This is human terms. So there's a framework in emotional intelligence that you can start to build. And again, it'd be great to talk with some of you, find out what your framework might be. But here's how I like to nurture some of those things. Again, when you're at a conference like this, maybe lead with, what is it that you're working on? And whatever the answer is to any of these questions, I want you to listen, because underneath the answer of the thing is the emotion. And then you can say, how can I position what I have to offer to nurture the emotion that's going on? So these are pretty common. You could probably add a whole lot more. And so you start to figure out, how can I have a frame of reference and be empathetic to the emotion underlying what they go through every day? Because this is at the heart of it. No matter what they're working on, these are the things. And this is so key. I don't have a wall to post this on anymore, but I think about this all the time before I go into a one-on-one conversation, a big meeting, when I'm trying to push this technology through. Why would they resist? Start from that point of view. You can probably make a pretty good guess. And I actually think you already know this going in. And so what you end up doing is coming at it to just talk about the thing. But if I could leave you with nothing else, please think about this. Why would they resist? Because this technology has so many benefits and attributes. You can pick some to position it to the answer to this. And by the way, it may not happen in the first conversation or the second, but please remember this. And emotional intelligence is, again, recognizing, interpreting, and responding to your own emotions, but then thinking about that other person. What would cause them? What's the emotion? I'm scared about my job. I don't want to look stupid. I want to get my bonus. Whatever it might be, the emotion, the fear of getting left behind is just there all the time. And you know, with myself too, I will say I have 45 seconds. I've seen some of the AI that's coming out, and I'm starting to worry about getting left behind. But I recognize that, and I'm going to react the right way, and I'm going to go teach myself. So anyway, this seems simplistic, but please remember this before you start to partner, because you really need these people to come along with you. Like I said, you don't own the passenger manifest into the future. Everyone deserves to be a part of what we're talking about today. Thank you. Be well.